We hear a lot about democracy nowadays, and although it might sound pretty simple, it's actually a lot of work. In 2021, the Georgia State Legislature passed SB 202. It overhauled almost 100 different voting laws and shortened the time period for runoffs to just 4 weeks. How this shakes out in a big midterm election isn't always clear. I wanted to know more, so I took a little field trip to Georgia Coalition for a People's Agenda, and they filled me in on more of the details. Long story short, Senator Raphael Warnock and a bunch of people immediately sued to allow counties to use the Saturday after Thanksgiving as an early vote day. And they won. But that's when the real work started. Each of Georgia's 159 counties sets their own early voting dates, which means that organizers had to call each of them and ask whether or not they were going to have Saturday voting. New Georgia Project is one of the organizations doing just that. They've spent the last 2 weeks calling different boards of elections and sharing what they learned to as many community organizations as possible. We caught up with Tori McFarland to ask how it was going.
As it relates to this runoff period, it is a lot of list building, a lot of list generation, because we're trying to contact these counties, maybe hundreds, thousands of calls even.
And Tori isn't alone. While he's figuring out what the rules are in each county, students are mobilizing to try and expand their community's access. To understand better, I went to Georgia State University in downtown Atlanta to talk to Hyla about how SB 202 impacts students and what they're doing to overcome the odds. So they moved the date of the runoff election up from the usual time up to December 6th. How has that changed things for the students here who are trying to vote?
It definitely is frustrating, especially because we have exams next week. Some of us have exams this week, and it's kind of just wrapping everything up. So it really does get in the way of our college life. So it's kind of like some students, normally they would be prepared for one plan, now they have to suddenly adjust and kind of add voting in the mix of like tons of other things that they're supposed to be doing. So it definitely does make it kind of hard to organize around that. So it is frustrating, but this isn't the only time we face suppression, like voter suppression. So yeah.
Just another day, right? These are all regular people fighting to expand access to the democratic process in Georgia, but they won't actually be the ones tasked with carrying out any changes. To make sure we got the whole picture, Progress Georgia caught up with Rocky Raffle. He's the chair of the elections board in Athens-Clarke County. We asked him how runoffs have impacted their elections process.
People are worn out. Certain people are trained to do certain tasks, and your pool is only so large for folks that can do that task versus this task. And I would say that there's not enough support from the Secretary of State, to be quite honest.